Okay, so can everyone see my screen there?
Yep.
Okay. So to test the implementer, so again, this will just be a fairly quick demo on just how to access it, how to use it, because most of the heavy lifting is done by the AI. So there isn't really a great deal that we need to do in this respect. It's more after the fact where you want to clean up the site where most of the work happens. So just from your partner portal, access AgentOne in the menu, and then you'll have access to the design parser and the implementer. So we're just going to talk about the implementer today. And really all this does is takes a zip file of HTML and web assets, and then tries to convert that into a fully functioning Web-in-One instance. So to test this, what I've done is I just look for a template on Template Monster that was like one of those multi-purpose templates that has a lot of different modules, and this particular one has a lot of like sub templates for different themes and styles. So looking over here in my file manager, these are all the sort of sub templates that came with it, and I've just been looking at the beauty template, which looks like this. So just a nice little template. It's got some effects there and a whole bunch of different sort of layouts and features. So it's a fairly simple site for my testing and for this purpose. So really all you do is get started. You just give your site the site name and set the details as you normally would for a new trial site, and then just upload the zip file. So over here, I've just completely zipped up all those HTML assets. So it's just HTML pages and all the CSS, JavaScript, images, etc. So I'll just chuck that in. And then you just hit save and it will start processing that. So 1 second. Oop, it decided to do a refresh just as I saved, so that's handy. Okay, so it puts it into the list here and shows you the status of its progress. So what it does, it actually creates like a blank trial site first, and then the AI will start working through all the code and pulling that out into the various components. So I just confirmed with Vlad before that at the moment, it can do pages, it can do content templates, it can pull common code into snippets, it can recognize like navigation and create menus out of those, and it can recognize forms and create forms. So they're the 5, I guess, CMS components that it can deal with at the moment. Now, I think this is a little bug because every time I've implemented one of these, it just says the deployment fails, but when you click retry it, it goes through it and it's always fine. So I think that's just a little UI glitch or something maybe at the moment. One nice thing, if you hover over this, it actually gives you like an update on what it's actually implementing. So it actually will give you the like feedback from the AI. So basically, once that progresses, it then turns into a sort of a trial site that exists only in your port, like in here. It hasn't moved into your trial sites list, so it kind of sits in here separately. And you can still go into the admin, you can still edit it and do things and view it. But once you're sort of ready, if it's been successful, you can move that into your trial sites. So I think that's a good thing because all these tests and trials that you might be trying to implement aren't going to take up your trial site limits. So that's a good thing. So while that's progressing, I'll just show you the results of the other one that I did. This one, sorry. So this is a pure implementation straight from the HTML files that I showed you. So this is what the implementer has created in my last test. and I haven't touched anything at all. Basically, visually, everything's like exact. It's all perfect. It all comes in exactly as the template was. There's a few like little things that would need cleaning up. I created 2 templates and they're slightly different, so you just sort of have to massage those to be more consistent. And it recognized the menu on all the other sub pages, but not on the home page. It hard coded it. So some things like that have been my experience in where it needs cleaning up. But generally speaking, that's the process, and it does a good job of bringing everything in. So of course, depending on the complexity of your HTML, it's going to depend on how much extra massaging and work you have to do to get it into a fully functioning WebOne site. Yeah, so we can see that one's now finished and you can access that. So that's really all there is to that, to the demo, to like using it. So from then on, it's just like a regular trial site that you can access. So yeah, if there's any questions on that side of things, happy to answer that, but then happy to get into other people's experience and feedback on that. Okay, so what have people's experience been with the implementer? Have you seen fairly good results or similar results to the template that I just processed then? No one's had any results?
I did post in the chat, but then I got distracted by a child. So
that's fine. Do
that. I've been using it quite a bit because I often use a template to start out my projects. But I found if I upload the entire template, it creates too many content templates and different bits and pieces. And I personally get a bit lost in what I'm looking for and trying to marry things up. And so now when I do it, I've reduced it down to the entire assets folder, but I might only upload the homepage, about page, and services page and contact page, and just, sort of those essential pages. If it's got lots on it, I might only just do the home and the about page and then just open the HTML because all of the styles are there and I'll just pull things across as I need them. But yeah, I just found it created too much.
Yeah, so it like kind of overwhelms the AI. And
yeah, I find like I'd go in, I'd be looking for the template that's assigned to the about page and it'd be called 404 template. And I'm like, no, that doesn't make sense to me. So I just found if I cut it right back and just use the essentials, then, or at least the pages that I'm going to use or a basis for what I'm going to use, then it creates a much nicer experience for me.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Make a note of that. Yeah, so you choose to actually simplify the HTML that you give it in order to get a cleaner result.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and I think that aligns with what I was seeing with it too, even just with so what have I got, like about eight or 9 pages that I was giving it. It did sort of get the templating a little confused. And yeah, I mean, from there, it's easy enough to just copy over a section from the template into WebOne directly rather than having the AI do that. But yeah, it is. I found it a really good tool for just getting everything set up, like all your assets, your folder structure, and the basic template and pages. So I mean, just there, it saves quite a bit of time.
Yeah, 100% agree. It's saving me an enormous amount of time just in those beginning stages.
Yeah, that's it.
And then I can develop them quicker.
Yeah. Okay, so Scott's just asking to see the output in WebOne. So yeah, I can definitely do that. Let me share again. Okay, so I'll look at the one that I've just processed. So you can see that that's a fresh implementation. So I just open that in the admin. Okay, so starting with the pages. So you can see it's brought in, yeah, all of those 8 pages. I think just looking at the source, we had 8 pages there as well. So it's brought in all the pages. And can see actually in this case, it's a little different to my previous results. It looks like there's just one template that it's created, a main template. So we can have a look at what it's done there. So that looks pretty good. So before in the homepage template, it had like a lot of the homepage content in the homepage template, and then the secondary template for all the other pages was much simpler, like it is here, which is good. So maybe there's been some improvements on that already. So you can see that it's created a snippet for the head content. It's created a snippet for the footer. We can see that there's a menu component there that it's put in place. So I mean that's pretty much perfect. The only thing I'd like to see is maybe this preloader content, which is obviously on every page. That could have been in a snippet as well, but you can see how it's pulled out those common elements and simplified that template there. So I really like that it's just created one for everything, because this particular template was very consistent in its code. So there's no reason why it shouldn't have done that. So then we can look at the snippets. So you can see there's the footer and the head. So they're correctly created and linked in the template. The menu, so we can look at that. So you can see all the items. If I just jump to, oh, this is the other one, but we had the menu items that even have drop downs. So it's gone through and it's found the drop down items, created links to those correctly. What's it done in the layouts? Okay, so it looks pretty normal Web1 menu layout, but you can see that it's added some classes and that in there for how the template worked with its drop down, and probably whatever CSS framework it was using. It's kept all that in place, so that's cool. And there was no forms in this one, so we don't have any example of the forms being created, but apparently you can pick up on the fields used in the form and create the forms and put in the layout and everything like that as well. So yeah, that's the content in the admin. Just look at the homepage. So you can see it's brought in all the code, all the styles. This is pretty much exactly as what was in the template. It's just copied that straight in, but it's been able to separate the page content out from the template itself. So I'll just look at a more simple page, because I know the homepage had a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, so that's not too bad. And there's some breadcrumbs here that I think looks like that's probably put that on every page, which that should probably be brought out into either a snippet or into the template. So maybe it could do better at recognizing breadcrumbs. All right. So how is that, Scott? Is that fine? Do you want to see anything else in the admin regarding the implementation there? I'm not sure if there's anything that's done.
Yeah, thank you. I was curious to see if it created any custom modules for any purpose.
Yeah, so at the moment, there are things on this template that would definitely be a custom module. Like you've got a Teams listing, there's even like a gallery. But at present, the AI hasn't been implemented to do custom modules. Vlad's mentioned that he's working on it and he's got some good results so far, but he doesn't want to put that into this current beta release just because he's still ironing out some issues, because there's a lot more complexity in that sort of thing. So
I see. And is it fussy about what framework was used? Like that particular one you showed was a Bootstrap framework?
Yeah, no, it shouldn't be at all, because from how I understand it, that doesn't like affect how it sees the structure, like because the framework is just your assets and the class is applied to the code, so they're all going to be copied over as is. So the framework will still carry over exactly as it was.
I see.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I know with the design parser, I think the ideal Figma sort of framework that they're using utilizes Tailwind. So there's perhaps an advantage with Tailwind. Maybe it might understand that sort of structure better if that's what it's sort of learning on. But yeah, I think for the most part, the framework's not really going to influence the AI too much. All right, any other experiences or feedback? I mean, now's a good time to give the feedback to the team, so that because they're actively working on making this better. So like I said, custom modules will come pretty soon, I think, to this, hopefully in the next release of it. Anyone had terrible results if they just used it and went, no, it's no good. Okay, so if anyone has questions for Vlad, like, feel free to put them here or put them in chat or just message him directly. He's eager for any feedback on this. So definitely get in touch. What else? I don't have anything else to sort of show about this. So unless anyone else wants to share any experiences with it or feedback, we can probably call it a day. Yeah, so Jack's asking any suggestions on where to get templates. I think like Theme Forest and Template Monster are probably my go-tos. Yeah, Peter's just confirmed the exact same. So, I mean, Template Monster is like massive. There's so much stuff that I find it a nightmare to navigate it and search for things because it's just a mess. But there is a lot of good stuff on there. And like I think, like Tim said in the past, and he uses like one sort of central template, similar to the template that I had. It's like a multi-purpose use one. So I think if you find something like that that's really good, you don't really even need to source other templates that often. But I don't particularly work from templates all that much, so probably not the best person to ask, but that's my experience in it. All right, guys, last call for any feedback or questions. So Eric's posted a link to a Theme Forest template that he uses a lot, so check that one out. Yeah, I think like Theme Forest seems to be like more quality stuff on there. But yeah, they're all good. So thanks for sharing that, Eric.
No worries. There's multiple, again, similar to the one you used, there's multiple within the template, but they're also compatible. So you just grab an element if you like from another.
Right, yeah.
So it's quite easy to customize, easy to work with. That's similar, as you said, similar to Tim, who uses might be in front of his screen, but can't remember what the one is Tim was using.
Yeah, it looks good, that one. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, let's we'll get back to work, and we'll see you in the next meeting. So I'm hoping to do like more feedback meetings like this, where because I should be getting like earlier access to features from now on, seeing where they're at with it while they're in development. So if we can get that to you guys earlier for earlier feedback, they can get better features in the first release, and then we won't have to wait for changes to be made in future releases. All right, guys, we'll catch you in the next one.
Thanks so much.